Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
He says he's a former NDC aspirant for Ayawaso East constituency parliamentary candidate. He says the way filth has engulfed the capital after this downpour is a national emergency. Our gutters are choked, plastic everywhere, still blocking drains. So I'm making a suggestion to the government of Ghana to declare tomorrow being a holiday as a national cleanup day. So every citizen should come out with brooms and shovels. That sounds like it's not a bad idea. But with the guidance of MMDAs, and they should also provide collection points for the citizens. One day of cleaning together can save lives and millions in flood damage. And it says thank you. I recall under John Mahama there was sanitation day. Okay. At the time I think it was Julo Debra was there. And I think the president actually promised he was going to bring it back, so I don't know. Anyway, so Kwame Shotosh, I believe, from Amsterdam, says hosting a national Thanksgiving 2 days after disaster is an egregious misstep that projects tone deafness and a failure of empathy. Forcing festivities on a grieving populace diminishes their trauma, elevating state optics and empty formalities over the urgent, tangible needs of affected citizens. We need to be serious as a country. Kwame Shotosh from Amsterdam. Francis Edwards says that, good morning, I always watch you from the UK. Mura, I will ask this question a million times. People complain of attitudes when refuse, trash are thrown into gutters, etc. Mura, my question is, where are the dustbins? I'll ask this question a million times. The fact is, people do not know where to dump their waste. The simple solution is have dumping sites and provide thousands of dustbins, period. Secondly, toilet facilities around all vulnerable communities and use seawater to flush. Common sense. The cost of one V8 car can construct tens of modern toilets facilities. Francis Edwards from the UK. Asanko Santa Maria says, I wonder what the MVP are making attempt to come to power for. To mismanage the economy, to a junk status through recklessness, corruption, arrogance, and all the negative things they did, or what? Asanko Santa Maria. Now, Abona David Etia says, good morning, Mr. Kwasi Kwarteng. I think it's not prudent to keep portraying yourself as Ken's spokesperson under this circumstance. MPP has elected their presidential candidate for 2028, which is imperative for any single party member to rally behind him for the party's sake and the good people of Ghana. Don't forget that our communication carries weight in the party. I must compliment you for that. He didn't come here as spokesperson for Ken, and I need to state this correctly. He came here as a communications member of the NPP. Except, of course, journalists, we like to probe. We're curious. I was asking him some questions based on his association with Ken. Okay? So he speaks for Ken, not in Ken's capacity as a flag bearer aspirant. As Ken, in his private capacity, is a businessman. He speaks for him. So we must make that point correctly. I don't know. Anyway, so this one from Prince from Segada says, good morning, Moro. I think we should put politics aside and find the best way to address the issue and stop the blame. We, the citizens, are the cause of the problems and contribute 90% of it because we never learn from our past, but rather do the same thing over and over again. Let us change our mindset. And please tell Titus to look for a platform for his politics. So this one was yesterday's message. I want to apologize for that. Just this morning, I saw on social media, there were some guys who were walking around the Chado area. They saw a family. They had carried plenty rubbish. They were going to dump it into whether it's a gutter or I don't know what it is. We're going to dump it in there. And the guy started saying, why are you doing this? And they said, oh, we're doing this for the last time. Unfortunately, I didn't download that video. Just yesterday, they were going to dump rubbish just right behind their house. And then when the police gets flooded and they flush their house, they say everybody else wrong. As for them, they've done nothing wrong.
It is wrong framing that this current flood is about rubbish. It's not merely rubbish.
No, it's
one more architectural structure.
No, it's one of it.
I agree.
It's one of it. No, I'm not attributing the flooding to only sanitation.
It's so it's me for SUV.
It's a multiplicity of factors, but we cannot take away our
attitude towards
sanitation.
Always been framing it on sanitation.
Yes.
It's not entirely sanitation.
Yes.
Let's broaden the conversation.
And this one here from Ali Hureya, NDC aspirant National Zugo Concourse. He says flooding in the capital city has become more likely like a festival because of our behavior. Meanwhile, we're blaming the politicians. Ismail Hureya. And he says, bro, the politicians have to know that they are allowing the citizens to take advantage of them by not coming together on certain issues like this. Well, look at this. Look at this. When was this?
This is
the filth. Yeah, the waste. Hey!
Yes.
Yeah, but we're generating all this and we're not collecting them.
Yes.
Oh,
and we're putting it into the gutters.
Ghana. Anyway.
It is not.
Kojo Chumbo, and I'm going to read for them. Yes. It's anyway.
Problem.
So Kojo Chumbo, I'm going to read this and then I'll come to Shamima. Good morning, Moro. Every year, we allow situations that are easily preventable to create force majeure situations for us. There are many confined aquifers, sorry, in Accra. We know this because everyone can dig a borehole when they need to. So an artesian drainage system with relief wells to trap the runoff and store water will be a good way to start. Ultimately, we may need to design levees, but the problem is hydra-headed now. So let's begin with the most obvious solutions. It's not simplistic as I make it sound, because the path of the runoff carefully needs to be mapped, but engineers will know what to do. So today the MP can complain that the president has gone to a Thanksgiving service at a time of national tragedy. That's rich from the same people whose president used to tell us, this too shall pass. Okay, all right, Sham.
Well, thank you.
Can we do 5 minutes each?
Oh, more. He spoke about he spoke a lot about the flooding. I'm not speaking about flooding.
All right.
There was a lot of misrepresentation. No, my first presentation was on the national.
Exactly.
Which you asked
the flooding in.
I didn't slaughter.
No, not really.
You know,
Yeah,
I made references to make a point.
Yes.
So what has happened this morning is he's setting his own questions and going on the narrative that they have agreed upon, which is okay. Like he's reminded us, opposition is expected to be opposition. We don't have a problem with it. As I said earlier on, we accept their invitation to deal with the issues competently. And it's not only their invitation as members of the opposition. It is what is expected of us as a government that asks for a job from the people of Ghana. And we, unlike them, will never parry that responsibility. President receives that expectation wholeheartedly and is on the ground to see how we have resilient solutions to this problem. To look at the matter, so I'm not going to,
the causes and things,
the narrative of wanting to, listen to how he did it very nicely. He would say that, he will make the point. He said, I'm not saying it's an NDC problem alone. I'm not saying it's a Shamima problem alone. Then he goes on to say that leadership is running away from the problem. Well, I'm not saying that it's an NDC problem alone. So he tries to lay the blame in the same vein, try to give himself a semblance of accepting some small responsibility. And that's the problem he might have with the party philosophically, because it is the minority leader that led a press conference that fully laid the blame of, what has happened in this flooding situation and flooding season at the doorsteps of the NDC. And so he's going to have philosophical problems, because if he's sitting here conceding that the NPP cannot wash its hands off the problems that we are experiencing today after having left office, an 8-year mandate, and his leaders are saying the opposite thing, that's a clear indication of where their communication is going to go. Back to the issue. There are 3 things we must deal with now as a government, which in fact, the president himself has been chairing the task force strategy sessions on a rollout. And so the full communication, this morning I was speaking to my boss, they are going into the 3rd day meeting today. And so we should expect any time soon a clear communication of what the medium to longer term execution plans, not preparation plans, execution plans, because there is no longer any mystery around what needs to be done. And so beyond the immediate things that need to be done, people have lost homes, property, they do not have places to lay their head. Many of them are not able to quickly go back to their homes. So government's immediate focus is to deploy the relief packages and try to help people relocate to temporary places. A lot of the extended family and friends have come in. Many families, many friends are hosting colleagues that have, borne the brunt of the flooding situation. So immediately, as we're doing now, is to send out the relief items and to, second, deal with the desilting. So in our first response, we know what the solution set is. And we need a number of things to execute. Primarily, what we don't have control over and what we have control over. What we don't have control over is natural disasters. What we don't have control over is floods and rainfalls occasioned as a result of changing climatic conditions or situations that are global in nature in terms of the flooding that all our neighboring countries have, received. We don't have control over that. What we have control over is our preparation, our mitigation, and even our preventive plans so that the effects of natural disasters do not become as devastating as we have seen. That we have control over. So, what do we do? Number one, 3 things I have said. We know what to do. Number 2 is we know what we need to do what we have to do. And then we have an assessment of the risks and rewards for doing what we need to do. The consequences of demolitions, the consequences of clearing waterways and wetlands, we know that. And then the last thing, what government needs to communicate. So when we come back to the most important things, what must it take to do what we have to do? I think that's been the question over the number of years. One, courage and integrity. And as a government, I am no longer, as a communicator, interested in saying to the NPP, what did you do with the GARID money? Because we are a government in office. If there is any wrongdoing, if there's evidence of misappropriation, of fraud, the Attorney General should be acting as we speak to call the people at the helm of affairs to order. So I'm not interested, they are interested in playing politics, but as a government today and as communicators, we are not interested in that game. We leave it to Attorney General if something wrong was done, because what Ghanaians need today is relief and what looks like a solution. And what I hear is going to happen is a decentralized approach to finding the solution to this problem.
Okay.
All districts, metropolitan assemblies, municipal assemblies are going to have their real-time, action plan to, first of all, deal with the blocked waterways. And I came across a very comprehensive, thoughts from someone who has visited Ghana 5 times. He calls himself, he's Eric Blowett or whatever. From 1999 to 2025, he has come to Ghana 11 times. And he shared some really poignant things that require to be done like yesterday. So we need the courage and integrity as a ruling class to deal without fear and favor everyone and anything that is partially, wholly responsible for the devastation that we have seen.
She's done 7 minutes.
Whether they have political leanings, whether they are politically linked, we need the courage to act like today. And some of us will be demanding that kind of action. When it comes to demolishing the buildings on waterways, we need to act with integrity consistently. Then the second issue is resources. And we cannot run away from the issues of resources. That is part of the problem why the desilting process weren't completed in many of the district assemblies. Resources mean manpower resources and financial resources. Because everything that we need to do, the infrastructure reorganization that needs to happen requires money. In the face of competing interests, how much would be enough to allocate to dealing with this problem? And the problem is we cannot always wait to begin to fix the issue when we are live. So we ought to have been able to raise the necessary resources to do major works in terms of the desilting and the clearing of the pathways. Moro, you have shown videos here of the Greater Accra Regional Minister when people say that nothing has been done, going around the demolishing sites, the attacks we got from citizens, mobilizing and crying and saying that there was no human face, the media re-echoing some of these sentiments, that there cannot be a human face in the face of some of these things. Pain will happen. The human thing we can do as a government, and I hope that the task force will include it, is to be able to find alternative places temporarily for people who lose their homes to demolitions. But there is evidence of work that was being done across Intema, Ebi Bright.
Yeah.
You watch them. The demolishings proud the rains. What I think we didn't expect was the volumes of rains and the works that were not fully completed. And that's an honest admission. And into the next space, we require the necessary resources. And this I'm advocating strongly on behalf of the MMDCs, that we need to give them the resources to be able to do what needs to be done, because we do know what needs to be done. And then the third thing is to have an honest conversation about the role of Zoom Lion and other waste management companies. We may have a challenge with Zoom Lion in certain areas, but if I hear that Zoom Lion owns and controls like 90% of dumping sites, how do we work with Zoom Lion whilst we seek accountability from him with some existing contracts he has with the state, so that the rubbish, when gathered, would find a place of final rest and not in our gutters? So that conversation would have to happen, an honest conversation, with the capacity of other waste management companies and Zoom Lion, and how we find a workable balance that will not ultimately lead to the kinds of devastation that we have seen. The risks and the rewards, as a government, we are aware. The risk of implementing this plan that we are about to roll out would mean negative sentiments from some quarters. And so we invite the media, we invite civil society. In fact, we invite all MMDCs to organize, town hall meetings and communicate clearly what needs to be done. And this is the right time to do it.
Right.
When the consequences of non-action is glaring for all of us to see.
Right.
Where we are able to see the devastation of non-action and how we cannot continue on this path. Because that house that you have slaved away to build is no more in some areas. All the furnishings in your home are no more because of these kinds of issues.
Okay.
And so we expect these kinds of action. The risk to us as government, we know that we are going to make sections of the citizens unhappy because they would lose. But ultimately, it will be good, it will be in the ultimate good of the broader society.
Okay.
The reward of acting is that we find a lasting, resilient solution to this perennial annual problem. And we will then be able to do what? Manage, not completely solve floods and other natural disasters, but we'll be able to manage, as the man had said. Okay. So what are the things that we are working to communicate that people have to become aware of? That extreme rainfall cannot be fully drained by infrastructure alone. That is also a reality check.
Right.
That's, some of the technical people have told us. And no matter how well we design it, the evacuation of that amount of rain cannot be soaked away by whatever even wetlands that we have. What has happened is that we need to slow the process. Unfortunately, if you look at Ebri, people are building. So in the past, the time duration from when it starts raining for the runoff water to make its way to the city was a bit longer. So by that time, the water is dissipated and the volumes becomes, right now, is almost like a flash flood. The rain starts and within minutes or seconds, we are inundated, downstream.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. Also, the issue of the wetlands and the lakes that have been blocked for buildings to be put on.
Okay.
These are the difficult decisions that will be made. Building permits, those who grant them and those who take them knowing that they are building on waterways, the law must be made to work. And then other structural issues, educating the public about rainwater harvesting, because that is another major aspect. We must figure out ways to harvest some of these rainwater.
Okay.
So that it doesn't inundate our buildings.
All right.
In the meantime, we would ask everyone to please reach out to NADMO if you need any help, any relief items, and I think if your producer can put the number
we do that all the time. We'll repeat it.
Please repeat it. So in the meantime, if you need a temporary place of abode, if you need any material help, please call NADMO and they will come to your aid. The wetlands must be restored.
Okay.
The natural infrastructure that are now on waterways,
okay,
no matter what they are, whether they are hotels, whether they are homes of Kwasi, Kwarteng, and
down.
some of his leaders, whether they belong to politicians, to chiefs, to imams, to pastors, without fear or favor, communicate which buildings are on waterways transparently at the district level, so that when work is being done, the government would then not be accused of engaging in what? Discrimination.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, if we fail the people, and if there's no evidence that we were able to execute the plans we know we have to execute consistently,
all right,
we will not blame, and I will not blame anybody, including Kwasi Kwarteng, if they call us out.
All right.
Because that is what it should be.
All right. Sham, so let me do this. I need to do this. So the government chair has issued a statement. Kwasi and the Shamima, the government has issued a statement. I'm just going to end the show with a statement. You know, both of them, you've done 2 bites each, so I think that should be fine, because we have to go for another program. Let me read this. Let me read this.
Look, you said you were giving us 5 minutes each.
Shamima
spoke for 17 good minutes, and you say you're going to end the show.
When you do this, you spoil the show.
But you are spoiling it yourself.
No,
you said you were going to give us 5 minutes.
Relax.
You were going to give us 5 minutes. Shamima spoke for 17 minutes, and now you are saying you have to bite. Where was my second bite?
Relax. Let me do
this. These are the points I wrote. You sat here for the lady to do 17 good minutes. She started 16.
Relax.
Relax. How many minutes did you do?
Relax. So the government chair has issued a statement. The government chair is a very good friend. You don't even want to hear from him. I'm surprised. Now, it says that to all media houses, we must unite as a nation to tackle Accra's perennial flooding. Statement from the government chair, Kintaki Tekochu, the second, and the Ghana Traditional Council on the recent floods in Accra. The government chair, Kintaki Tekochu, the second, and the Ghana Traditional Council have taken careful note of the persistent challenges posed by Accra's perennial flooding, as well as the renewed efforts by government. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Honorable Linda Obenewa Akwele Oklu, NADMO, Metropolitan Authorities, and the Security Services to address this issue with urgency, discipline, and foresight. We extend our deepest sympathies to all families, traders, motorists, and communities affected by the recent rains. We also commend the dedication of public institutions, emergency responders, and citizens working tirelessly to safeguard lives and restore normalcy. As custodians of the land, we emphasize that flooding in Accra is not solely an engineering challenge, but a matter that demands collective responsibility, adherence to land use regulations, improved sanitation practices, environmental stewardship, and respect for natural waterways. The Ghana Traditional Council therefore reaffirms its unwavering support for sustainable and practical interventions aimed at protecting drainage systems, preventing unlawful development on waterways, promoting community-led sanitation initiatives, enhancing public education, and strengthening collaboration among government agencies, district assemblies, traditional authorities, faith-based organizations, business, youth groups, and residents. We further commit to leveraging our traditional authority and structures to promote behavioral change, civic responsibility, and a shared sense of duty among all stakeholders in order to safeguard the safety, dignity, and heritage of our capital city, while the rains will inevitably continue, we are confident that through unity, effective enforcement, strategic planning, and disciplined action, the impact can be mitigated and the recurring devastation prevented. Signed, Evelyn Amewoche, I hope I got that correctly, Registrar, and it's for His Royal Majesty King Taki Tekochuru II, Gamanche, and the President of the Ga Traditional Council. What a statement. This is a good one. It's a very good statement from the government chair. I think it's put it all in its proper perspective.
It's a shared responsibility, but leadership must lead.
All right.
And that one we cannot...
We cannot run away from that. All right.
No, we can't.
So Kwasi,
Yeah.
let me cheat you small.
It's not. Is it a cheat? Then don't cheat him.
I said cheat. He actually wanted to say so 1 minute. That's what I'm saying. I want to cheat him.
Then don't cheat him if it's a cheat. But if it's fair that he spoke first and then you came to me on National Thanksgiving, then he spoke on National Thanksgiving even. No, in fact, he spoke on flood before I came to speak on flood. And so don't say it's cheating. If it's cheating, then be fair to him.
He asked him for the 1 minute.
No, he didn't ask. He said that you said you were going to give each of us time, 5 minutes. But yet he forgets he spoke for 20 minutes. He insists that I spoke for 17 minutes.
All right.
He forgets he spoke for 20 minutes. So no problem. You can give me 1.5 minutes and give me 1.5 minutes because we all spoke on the same thing.
Okay.
He spoke on water and I came to speak on water.
Let me dash you some 3 minutes.
I am happy that I am happy that whatever we are discussing here is not just left to the corridors of this studio and Ghanaians are watching.
Yes.
I leave everything happening here to the judgment and good conscience of Ghanaians, whether or not I've been treated fairly on this whole subject matter of the flood, where the host said he was giving each of us 5 minutes. Shamima, maybe because he's in government, ended up having 17 minutes.
Is that what you
said? And today, they are now trying to do a trade-off of 3 minutes. Let it be on record. And again, recall when I was speaking about that flood is not merely an attitudinal problem. The producer was so quick and smart to insert a video of some garbages to suggest that suggest contrary to what I'm saying. He should also put the GARID picture there so that we can also see him. But you gave me 3 minutes. I will still make use of it. I will not run away. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. Let me. His boss's thing is entering. It's fine. You won't displace me. Whether my boss will let me make
Please go ahead.
First of all, let it be on record that there is something called GARID that I was expecting Shamima to speak about it. And she creatively and smartly ran away from that. Why? Because the World Bank, I mean, you ask, what does the GARID money? There is going to be accountability. You've been in power for almost 2 years. If you see we spend GARID money, would have come after us. But for the record, the World Bank has said, and please, you can just take your phone and Google, World Bank blames Finance Ministry's physical controls for delays to GARID flood projects. So let it be on that record. Now, it is not us. It is your own fiscal policy. This is a statement of fact. It's online. All media houses have reported it. Now, to the ordinary layperson like myself who want to understand the GARID conversation, this is it. You see, when MPP Akufo-Addo came into power, prior to that, in 2015, we had lost about 152 Ghanaian citizens through the circle flood and fire that unfortunately visited us. So what we did was a very proactive decision. What the President Akufo-Addo did was to set up a sub-cabinet committee to investigate this whole flood and understand the flood situation. Consequently, we invested about 550 million in emergency flood relief and drainage interventions over 8 years. About 550 million. I have been able to tell you what we have done. Beyond that, our administration was able to secure, respectfully, our administration was able to secure $200 million seed money for the GARID project. Indeed, we started, and Henry Cote has come out with the figures. He said we were supposed to build 18 ponds and about 40, 40 infrastructure projects that is going to mitigate the flood situation. That's why I made a point that flood is not really only about attitudinal behavior.
Nobody has said
Your own people have said that 7 regions have been engulfed with flood.
Nobody has
all
said
of them. Is it an issue of? Oh, Shamima, you keep disrupting me. Let me land. What the point I am trying, and I'll make it forcefully. The point I am making is that there was also an additional 150 million for the GARID project. The GARID project essentially is to say that we are constructing engineering and architectural projects that will be able to solve our flood situation once and for all. When you came, the World Bank today has accused you that your own finance ministry, their decisions, actions, and inaction has stalled the rest of the projects.
Okay.
So you don't then make a U-turn and come and blame us. It is the more reason why from day one I have been advancing an argument that they are finding a convenient way to now blame citizens and make it look like, oh, it's a citizen's attitude. There are buildings in waterways. 2 years ago, we were not buildings in waterways. Okay. 4 years ago, we were not buildings in waterways. Okay. 8 years ago, when we came into power, the entire 8 years, we were not building in waterways. So we were not float in this country. Why is it that we didn't report the fraud that we were having? You came. Respectfully, you came and cancelled all Zoom Lion contracts.
Unfortunately
you came and cancelled all Zoom Lion contracts.
Unfortunately for him,
and gave the contract to the MMDCs.
We were supposed
MMDCs
to. You see,
do not have the capacity
this is what they do. Because you see,
when you are
okay,
I am suggesting.
Thank you. We have heard you. Can I also just to be fair and to cheat? You've done that.
After the 3, you are still giving her another minute again.
Moro, you see, it's very good. He kept saying,
I have seen that you are biased towards me. You want to protect the interests of government.
He kept saying
I have seen that you are in bed with Shamira. You are in bed with Shamima.
And I'm scared. My name.
Shamima, I used to be listening to you when I was in school.
Moro, have you heard what he said? We were supposed to. For 8 years they were supposed to, and we are where we are today.
Did it.
You know,
I have an
accusation. You said, you know, he kept saying
I won't let her repair her case. I won't let her repair her case.
Because unlike them, I have desisted.
We've got you money. You can't even spend the money.
Unlike them, for 8 years. That's why I kept saying that if NPP had all the solutions to our problems and sat on them for 8 years, then they were very wicked though. And yet we are where we are. And we are where we are.
She's misquoting me.
We're right here. We're right here.
You know, this is what they do.
Not sports, actually, not sports.
We accept responsibility.
Ghanaians will look at Moro. Moro is the one cheering Shamima on.
Never blame.
Giving Shamima all the time.
The Ghanaian people know who is responsible for where we are today.
Okay.
Supposed to, for 8 years they were supposed to.
I mentioned
For 8 years they were supposed to.
550 million invested.
It's like the 50 million you spent. The 50 million you spent in that national cathedral.
All right.
Every money you spent, we cannot see the evidence of it.
Honorables, good morning.
All
right. Honorables, good morning. Yeah, I'm trying to greet them. Yes, so. Yes, good morning. I'm trying to greet you, Honorables. Good morning.
We needed
Yes.
Honorable Kwasi, good morning.
us to come into office.
Oh, good morning.
Continue with all their bad behaviors.
No. Good morning. Good morning.
He will audit everything.
No, but I'm greeting you.
And they have a problem with it.
All right.
Shamima.
All right,
Shamima, good morning to you.
My guest today won't allow me to bring you in.
I'm wondering what's happening because I didn't expect it to go this way. I'm talking to you. No, please.
Your namesake is calling.
Shamima, all right. So your namesake is calling you.
Yes.
Good morning. How is your morning so far? How is it going?
We are doing what Shamima wants to patronize me with gentlemen. So
All right, a quick one. Honorable Kwasi, a quick one. This is the School's Homecoming show coming up in some few minutes.
She's talking to us. It's fine.
Yes, the School's Homecoming show is coming up in some few minutes, and I'm going to go straight to you. I mean, in your time, substance abuse, how did you handle it?
Senior high school.
Yes, please.
You see, those during our time in school, it wasn't something that you could visibly show it. But this time, it looks like people are even proud of it. Recently, I read the statements from the security service. They said about 7,000 people tested.
Yeah.
And it looked like we are almost educating ourselves into imbeciles. To the extent that things that we were so much afraid of. Because when we were in school, it was so much of a big deal.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, we used to
It's not a normal thing.
It's almost a normal thing. But so our time, from Konogo Massive days, I mean, yes, obviously, we may have situations like that there, but it wasn't as rampant as we have today.
All right, thank you very much. And Shamima, finally and briefly, with your term, when you were in school, senior high school? How did it go? How did you handle it?
As for
She wants to
Holy
talk on
Child,
flat.
we didn't have.
It's always
we
asked for
didn't
Holy
see.
Child.
But now the problem is that we are seeing young girls smoking and puffing. I don't know whether it's cigarette or is in Tampi or whatever, and they're taking videos of it. So drug abuse obviously is no longer a male-dominated problem. Now we are seeing a lot of women and girls also in it. When we did this, we watched this documentary on that thing that they are taking. What do you?
The vape.
Not even the vapor. The one that will make you stoop, like you are sleeping.
Is it trauma?
The red.
Tramadol, yeah.
The red. No. We saw worrying.
In your
because
time, it
of
wasn't
even
there.
Mothers. There was one video. The mother was entirely stoned, and there was a child beside it. So it's a big problem. I think that's why the president also yesterday used the occasion of the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Day to admonish young people that drug abuse is harmful, and we must all Kwasi, if you've not had an
Shamima wants to score points
All right,
everywhere.
thank you very much.
if you've not had an experience of a drug addict in your family, maybe you laugh at some of these things. Some of us, we can't laugh about it because we've seen it in close proximity. And so it is
That's why the president has to intervene.
We must continue to advocate for and try to find better productive pathways for our children.
All right.
And I'd like to also end by advising my brother here that when they don't agree with the message, they should stop attacking the messenger. The way he has attacked Moro this morning.
I'm in the PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.